And welcome to the stream. My name is Lee, and we are a little bit behind today. Hang on, let me do the majiggy whatsits, because you know how we do. Okay, then we go to here, and we go to... Okay, we do that, then we go to here and sneakily go to the forum. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, y'all. Alright, welcome to the stream. For those of you who don't know, my name is Lee. Them is stripes today, just remember I'm not a woman. And, what else? We are going to the Greyhawk. Oh, Principality of Uluk. Okay, we're going to Principality of Uluk. And I think if I did... Yeah, it's already there. You know what's up. Okay. So that's the secret to it. Is you... Also, I have soup, because I haven't eaten breakfast yet, so I'm having soup for breakfast. I always eat on stream, for those of you who don't know. Oh, right, we're doing the thing. So, we are going to... do the summoning ritual. Okay. So last time... Hello! Oh, hello! It's Greyhawk Day. Welcome. Today is Greyhawk Day, which means... what we've been doing is... I think I downloaded it. Let me check. I actually downloaded... Maybe the Undying. Yep, we do. Oh, hey. Even already loaded into our setup. We just have to, I think. It is. Okay, cool. That we just have to fix this to go like this and this so we can actually see. And then start doing this. And then we have Ivid the Undying. What we've been doing is going through Ivid the Undying and transferring all the cool information there onto the Greyhawk wiki. Which is a... Okay, I see how it goes. We're just gonna bop. Which is a wiki of the Principality of... Well, not the Principality of Greyhawk. The Principality of Uluk is a country within Greyhawk. Well, alright, let me bring up the map and I'll see if I can explain it. I don't know how much you know about Greyhawk. Basically... Oh, here we go. There's the map. We're gonna go to this version of the map, briefly. And then... Ta-da! Okay. Greyhawk being the city. Well, the domain of Greyhawk is here. The city Greyhawk is here on the, that's Mid-Bay. The near div is... Hang on. Yeah, this is the near div. It's near the near div, but it's kind of inland a little bit along the Selton River. And then you get to Hardby and a bunch of other stuff down here. And the domain of Greyhawk stretches all the way from the Near Div to the Woolly Bay. And then there's Hard Bay, which is this small area of Woolly Bay, which is where Hardby is. But there's an entire world, if you zoom out a little bit, of countries and places, and it just kind of... Yeah, Greyhawk is basically when Dungeons & Dragons was first created back in the 1980s. What was his name? Gary Gygax. Brilliant man. He invented first Castle Greyhawk, then he mentioned the nearby city, and he kind of built the world spiraling out there. And eventually they started publishing other worlds. They did the Forgotten Realms, they did Dark Sun, they did Eberron. So they did all these different settings, and kind of Greyhawk fell by the wayside and got forgotten. But it's still one of the coolest settings ever, personally, I think. A lot of political intrigue, a lot of stuff. And so a lot of fans have been trying to preserve, Christoph, you're here! Hello, welcome! Christoph is the one to actually ask about Greyhawk, because he runs the whole frickin' wiki-majiggy thing. I just kind of help edit a little bit when I can. But I started doing kind of lore dives, because Greyhawk was interesting. And then I got to, after I started doing the lore dives, I got to, setting up this. So what I've been doing recently, I started with the Principality of Ulick, kind of trying to do the history a little bit. But what we're doing now is we're going to go and check this out. So Greyhawk Undying is no, not Greyhawk the Undying, Ivid the Undying. It's about the Ivid the Fifth, I believe, who was the one who's got turned into a lich. He was the king of, not Relastra, the Great Kingdom. And then it kind of fell apart when he went missing after Roxas got broken up into this thing by a weird phenomenon after the Greyhawk War. And that was in the year 585. So basically this is kind of Carl Sargent, one of the early graders for TSR, and which then became Wizards of the Coast, or at least got folded into Wizards of the Coast, and they started, they do all the Greyhawk lore. This was originally made, perfectly made, and then never published. That's me. I'm Leehawk. I'm not Greyhawk, no. Actually, there is a secret, okay. There is, there we go. An interesting character, Lee Falconcliff, who is, anyway, who was the protege of the wizard, what was the wizard's name? Zagig the Mad, and, Zagig. Anyway, let's see. But what we were doing, on its whole message, was going to go to Roland. So, if we do this, Principality of Ulick is one such country. Then we go to, let's see, Solnar Compact. Do we not? There we go. Here we go. Solnar Compact. So there... Oops, hang on. We gotta fix this. Give me a sec. This is what we do. We edit the thingies to make everything a little more smooth. So what we need to do for now is put UNSI in brackets. And then mention we were fixing a link. Fixing link. Yep. I should have said it was a minor edit, because it really was. but that way we can, because the page, we made the page on Unsee. As much as we could. Okay, hang on. We're gonna edit. Sonar compact. Alright. We're going to add a little of that flavor text about the thing, because I feel like we didn't add any of that, and I feel like it's an important part of Unsee. Okay. Yeah, that's just that. Okay, cool. Bob. All right, there's that. I feel like that's an important little detail. And then we did Coma Compact. Geography, we of divination, Lady Amara of House Garsteth, yes, guarantee the loyalty. We don't have any heraldry. Do we? Ooh, is there any heraldry? Hang on, let me. What we've been doing is using this to the twin. Ooh. I feel like we could actually use... Okay, Twin Cities. The Sea Barons... Boop. Free Cities. Relastra. Relastra, the city. Okay. Travel and armed forces. That's Relastra. Oh, the feed. There's a lot on then we got Roland, which we're about to, and I was just wondering if there were any heraldry pictures, ruins of Magdia. No. All right, no heraldry to speak of. Heraldry would be handy, but that's okay. Guess we don't have heraldry for now. But okay. Let's see. So there is no heraldry that we know of in here, but what we wanted to do was what were we doing? I think what I was started with was Relastra. It started with just lore dives, and then I got sucked into doing edits because there's a few things that didn't match up, and I was like, all right, I know this. This was said on the other page. I can tweak this. And then I did. I remember I started with Virtual Greyhawk Con in 2021. That was the first, that was before I started doing, set it up as Good Morning Greyhawk. But, okay, get Unsee going. We were going to do Roland. That was our plan. We were going to, at least as far as I remember, we're going to switch to Roland, unless we sell it them. All right, let's switch to Roland for now. Yes, this one. Free City of Roland. Ta-da. Founding member of the Solar Compact. Okay. Let's see what we can do with the Roland. Alright. Boom. Unsee. Roland goes first. So, let me go up a little. Roland. Town and the lands. Let me see if we... Alright, okay, let's see. We're gonna go like this. Surrounding lands. Beautiful. Okay. Then we go to population update. There we go. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, now what we can do is thingamabob. Nestled in the Gulf Cliffs, the Bay of Gates is a freak harbor. Huh. The cliffs around Roland are 150 to 400 feet high, but the harbor is as deep, and the vessels can draw virtually up to the sea gates of Roland itself, located in the Bay of Gates. Huh. By virtue of those cliffs, Roland is highly defensible, which is why Iridians founded it. Set back from the harbor, the place is immune to maritime invasion, which was judged worth the necessity of hauling cargo from the harbor into the town itself along a very smooth trail which connects the town and the harbor. Roland has been the subject of usually abortive barbarian raids in the past, but recently frost barbarians have come offering trade and peace, and the Five of Roland are considering whether this might be a good idea. Because of its security, the town has only 3 coasters for patrols, and always has been used to the protection of the Sea Barons, who are still major trading partner. The only major outpost the town maintains is Grelden, which stands at the triple border with Winetha's lands and those of the Overking himself. So by and large, the Roland has few outgoings and overheads. The town is not rich, but it isn't poor either. Interesting. So, triple border. Hang on. If we're going to do a reading, keep that Greyhawk Roland. Roland seems kind of cool. I'm going to actually bop this real quick so you can see. If you want me to adjust the font size, or like pop it up here. Is virtually a split level city. Most of it is built on the hills by the coastline, but there are also expansive caves below, excavated by dwarves and gnomes who once lived in considerable numbers in the Gull Cliffs. Now there are perhaps 150 dwarves and 200 gnomes in the town, with 250 dwarves and 1,000 gnomes in small scattered settlements in the Gull Cliffs. The invading Iridians initially tried to wipe out the dwarven and gnomish clans, but over the centuries some kind of uneasy truce was proclaimed. In the 150 years since the Five came to rule Roland, demi-humans have been considerably better treated. Oh, that's good. Few of them are good, of good alignments, however, with the majority being neutral and no few being very definitely evil. Of course they are. I mean, if you've been mistreated by the city for so many years. Evil is not unheard of. Okay. In caves and catacombs below Roland, some folks usually actually make their homes, though this is unusual. Rather, there is a system of military bunkers and stores, and also several catacombs of mummified bodies. A long-forgotten town ruler once decided to have his body mummified after death and placed here, and the fashion caught on among the better off. It's become a sign of rank and privilege to have one's body disposed of in this way, rather than burned and the ashes scattered on the sea, which is tradition. Obviously, such catacombs attract necromancers as dung attracts flies, so they're carefully guarded by detachments of the town watch. Despite its trade function, with goods coming from the sea barons in particular, Roland is as insular and parochial as one would expect from such an isolated place. The local dialect is common, and strong accents of the Rolanders makes it difficult to understand them easily. The town's merchants and traders generally use their own promissory notes rather than imperial coinage for trade between themselves, and barter is commonplace. Interesting. However, Roland is a highly unusual form of government, being ruled by a group known simply as the Five. A despotic Garisteth! That's the one, that Lady, Emery's husband's come from, that she's hooked up with them because her husband was from there, and then she pledged her allegiance to the Thine. She was, the Thine of Uncy. She came from that family. Well, her husband did, and then she pledged herself into that. She married into the family and then pledged her allegiance to it and gave up her birth family's allegiance. The Garisteth was overthrown in a military coup. Oh, wow. And the leaders of that coup instituted their own despotism instead. Of course they did. Just because you overthrow an unfair governor does not mean... No, sorry. Should not be doing that hand symbol. I should be very careful about that. Just because you overthrow a despotic governor does not mean the government you create is going to be any less despotic. See the Tsars versus Stalin, or the Shah versus the Ayatollah. Like, you can create, just because you overthrow a cruel and despotic government does not mean your government is going to be any less cruel and despotic. To avoid assassination attempts, they kept their identity secret, meeting at irregular intervals in the windowless marble keep known simply as the Fortress. While the Five know who each other are, they are masked and disguised in the fortress. When one dies and it is time to select a replacement, the position of rulership is usually hereditary, but from time to time one of the Five has been known to be hurried along to an early grave to allow a particularly promising external candidate to take his or her place. Ooh. None of the Five trust each other, of course. Each is perpetually uncertain which of the others is allied with anyone else, so it is rare for one member to attempt to assassinate or ruin another. Wow, okay. Roland is... Thus, this pattern of rulership is stable enough. Since the wars, however, a spanner has been thrown into the works. Ooh. A preeminent mind among the Five has been, for many years, the mage Jirin. His intelligence is truly piercing, and he has a way of... I don't actually watch I haven't been watching the House of Dragons because I got disillusioned with Game of Thrones when they turned Jaime into an actual rapist and kinslayer instead of just what he was, and then they also screwed up. They turned Theon Greyjoy into a freaking useless instead of just being an asshole. He was actually useless, but he was actually competent in the books. And they left out the other week. And basically, in the early seasons, they did a lot of things that I disagreed with, so I stopped watching, and because I was reading the books, and so I never started watching the new Targaryen spin-off series. But I've heard it's quite a thing, from what I gather. Oh, yes, preeminent among the Five. For many years, the mage Jirin, his intelligence is truly piercing, and he has a way of organizing the meetings of the rulers and resolving disputes, which marked him out as the real leader. Unfortunately, Jirin was one of the last victims of Iva's crazed enthusiasm for revivification, and is now one of a legion of animuses. I mean, it makes sense. Roland, political drama is very interesting. And part of the reason Greyhawk is such a fascinating setting is because there is all the political drama. When I did virtual Greyhawk Con, which I finally got around to putting up on YouTube, I had the virtual Greyhawk Con one shot, and I finally got around to actually putting it up on YouTube, and not only putting it up on YouTube, but making it not public. A lot of the stuff I put on YouTube I have yet to make public just because I've been busy, and it... Ugh. Anyway. But yeah, I finally got around to putting up the one shot, and it was actually all political machinations from Hardby, and it was the coolest one shot. Also, it had an epic fight with the orcs, which was kind of cool. Basically, instead of initiative, both combatants rolled at the same time, which I thought was kind of cool. Oh, yes. Particular obsession, the belief that a magically created, an almost undetectable doppelganger stalks him if it's bequest. So he's a legion of animuses. Particular obsession, belief that a magically created and almost undetectable doppelganger stalks him if it's a quest. Indeed, Jiren's madness has advanced to the point where sometimes Daisy actually has brief spells where he suffers the illusion that he is the doppelganger. So he's, during these spells, Jiren is depersonalized and mute. It makes it very difficult for Jiren to lead the five as he used to do. The others recognize that this has happened to him and are uncertain. On one hand, they feel that they must do away with this madman. On the other, they are very afraid of this animus mage and what he might do should any attempt on his life fail. Yet, if you strike at a king, you must succeed. That's the theory of it. I did not edit out any of the distractive comments. Promise, cross my heart, they're all in there. I don't edit out your distraction comments. I specifically don't, because that is kind of cool. But, yeah. Oh. At a recent meeting, Jiren screamed and raged at the others for conspiring with the doppelganger to replace him. Since three of them had just met to discuss how to get rid of the mage, they feared he must have magical warning to their plans, though this was but coincidence. Yes and no. He knows that there has an absolute certainty, whether it's true or not is irrelevant. He knows with absolute certainty that there is a doppelganger from outside, and he does occasionally have, I guess, a dissociative identity disassociate and assume himself to be the doppelganger. So he disassociates with the identity of the doppelganger, which kind of complicates things. So kind of, sometimes. But yeah, this is a whole thing. The other. Rem Shalak, a 12th level priest of Remius. Okay, hang on. We're doing a bit of a Premius. Who's Premius? So it's P-Y... Hang on. Can we do this? Yes, we can. Okay. We can. Alright, I'm going to check and see if there is... Who is... Okay, there's Premius. Boom. Sual, god of assassins, fire, poison, and murder. Ooh, lovely. His symbol is the demonic face with ears like bat wings. This is the head of a Yangnaloth. Depicted as hideous human with bald germaline. Alright, sorry, we're going into a bit of a evil underground dwellers who spend their days sneaking, hiding, and plotting to humiliate larger races and create general badness. The word germaline is Old Iridian for troublemaker. Gremlin is a modern corruption of it. It's used in both singular and the plural. And then in the the 3rd edition Monster Manual, Germalines. So in AD&D, Germaline was both the singular and the plural. In Germlane. Germlane was both singular and plural, and then plural germlanes. Interesting. Caverns beneath the hell furnaces where they first created, but... Wait, hang on. Wait, first created. May found to be... Hang on. First created... They're Fae. Hang on. Other creatures characterized as gremlins, including mites and synids. Some sages have theorized these other races are stages of regression between germlanes and gnomes. Particularly common in the caverns of the hell furnaces where they were first created. But they may have found virtual underground era even in the Arctic and other worlds. And on other worlds, normally the homes are networks of tunnels appropriate to their size, but they will inhabit buildings made by giant races, that is, any larger than themselves. So, provided the previous inhabitants are safely gone, some have been known to lair in the sewers of major cities, even aligning themselves with local thieves' guilds. Huh. Usually associated with rats, giant rats, camp rats, osquips, and the like, sharing their homes with pooling their resources. They treat these vermin as trusted equals, and Germline clans name themselves after the type of rodent they share their lives with. I was fortunate enough to dwell with oscips, shape oscip dung for a variety of useful forms. That's when it dries, it becomes nearly as hard as stone. That's cool. I do not know what an oscip is. Lairs and nearby environs are festooned with traps, which help compensate for their lack of size. They worship... Oh. Probably Smurf Niblin, slaves of a Suloi's wizardry cabal dwelling in the caverns beneath the hell furnaces, then known as the Southern Crystal Mists. The cabal, known as the Inheritors of the Red Gloom, were a society of Premius worshippers, most of them fire elemental magi or mage assassins dwelling underground because they're opposition of the government of the Suloi's Imperium. Their opposition to the government of the Suloi's Imperium, which was still around at the time because this was before pre-Cataclysm, I'm guessing. Sorry, I know we're going a little rabbit holing, but... I mean, if they got to... These are the cream of the crop of Greyhawk. They probably spent their lives adventuring, and B, they probably got experience from stuff other than killing things. Just because killing is the main method of gathering experience doesn't mean that you can't get experience from other things. Most DMs give out EXP for RP and studying, and so they might not have killed... I mean, it's harder to get a high level that way, but it's not impossible. And there are all sorts of crazy creatures in Greyhawk you can take down. Besides which, Greyhawk is, you know, these guys are supposed to be the rulers. They have to be. No, fair enough, but you do know better spells as a wizard. That's true. Yeah, these guys are only level 12. They're not exceedingly high level. And if you're a wizard, you don't need to know how to swing a sword. You need to know how to cast spells, and you get better at casting spells by studying how to cast spells, and it doesn't matter which spells you cast. The level is just an approximation of how good you are at what you do. And if fighting's not your main thing, then that might not be a really good representation of your actual level. Just something to think on. But, some of the gnomish slaves became priests of Primus themselves, escaping their masters and relocating to the mountains adjacent to the Chiclia Bay. Using the appearance of their patron god as model, they used captured Suloid humans, including some of the inheritors, and their own flesh to create a miniature race of spies and guards. The gnomes were destroyed by their spellcasters, the Imperium, around negative 1600 Common Year, but their servant race survived and flourished. Wow, okay. So, but that's why, okay. Sorry. Here's what we can do. We go to that. All right. We're ducking out of the rabbit hole back to, yeah, that's true. That's true, but it also might be DM discretion. That is to say, these guys are that good. It might have been the writer saying, okay, this is how powerful these guys are, so we're just going to say that they're this level, even though the history of them getting there is a little murky, because they must have gotten there at some point, because they are that powerful. Plot convenience, as it were. That's probably how it goes. Boom. Okay, right. So, priest of Premius, who is the god of sneakiness and assassin. Yes, plot XP. Exactly, plot XP. The 12th level. So then it's Vorenkern, a 12th level thief, the 13th level female warrior, Lord Barburn. She takes the title Lord rather than Lady, regarding it as having more gravity. Okay. Lord Barburn, she takes the title Lord. Okay. And Admiral Quanser, a 10th level fighter who has major responsibility for all aspects of city defense. None of them has the power, magical strength, or guts to overcome Jireen, though Remshalak is the most murderous and determined of them. None has any powerful house affiliations which might allow them to call on outside aid, a consequence of Roland's long history of isolationism. However, Vornikern has secretly met with Drax recently. Oh, wow. He's meeting with Drax. Maybe Joffrey, but that's a completely different system. He's and he died anyway during the Purple Wedding. So, you know, he wasn't that strong. Vornikern has secretly met with Drax and discussed a deal in which Drax would slay Jireen and Vornikern would become despot of Roland as a liegeman of Drax. In return, the thief would provide Drax with full information relating to the defense and layout of Roland, allowing Relastra's lord to mount an invasion with ease. As yet, Drax seems no real advantage in this, since his ultimate concern is with Roxas and Ivid. Okay, Game of Thrones, A, doesn't necessarily function on D&D logic, and B, you know, yeah, there's a lot of killing that goes on. That's how it goes. In a world where there's a lot of fighting, and it is easier to gain experience as a soldier. Skill in killing things is very easy to gather when there's a lot of people that get killed. But I think it was no, I have not. Not necessarily. Yeah, I wouldn't trust that Game of Thrones functions on the same logic as, say, yeah. It's because I wouldn't argue Game of Thrones functions on experience logic, personally. All right, fair enough. But oh yes, Premunus. Right, we went to Premunus, free city of yes. Hang on. We are going to try to figure out Roland, and how we're going to apart from the small dwarf and gnome settlements here, the Gulf Cliffs are riddled with caves and natural passageways. There are certainly several magical locations. The best known is the Fading Ground of the Blood Obelisk of Aerde, from the Ashes campaign book, which would, but there are said to be at least 2 burial chambers of Earthland mages or necromancers. Many come seeking them, but they have not yet been located even by the most penetrative magical scrying. There are also travelers' tales of an albino clan of gnomes far below the hills, said to be extraordinarily swift of movement and able to meld into stone as a natural ability. 1 or 2 claim they are guardians of some site sacred to a gnomish deity. Others that they're restructure deep passageways to the Underdark to keep intruders and adventurers away from some site of dark magic, possibly a temple of Tharizdun. Wow, okay. That's the whole thing. And then the village of Farland is maintained jointly by all 3 free cities. Okay, that definitely deserves a page in the wiki, since they all need it as a trade outlet, and the garrison of 350 troops guarding the 1,300 villagers is drawn from all of them. This makes for animosity and frictions, especially since Velastra, commander of the troops, is weak and cowardly man who blusters and bullies his way through commands. This makes him his Rolander and Unseen adjutants contemptuous and resentful. The village has 2 unexpected buildings, which makes it noteworthy. The first, a huge cathedral to Photis, god of light, I believe, if I recall correctly. Photis is a deity of light and such. Now looted and pillaged, which was built by a rich and eccentric convert to the faith some 200 years ago. It's a particularly peculiar architectural style mixed traditional Iridian with Kettite and even Kiolandish influences. The second is a large library and scriptorium, again built by the rich eccentric Garisteth, noble who retreated here centuries ago. The library's upkeep is maintained from monies left by that noble and the fees charged to the scholars who come to consult some of the more obscure scrolls, parchment, and tomes. The library is complete, which is Dungeon Master Guide 107, of anything the DM determines to be social science, including history, language, philosophy. So if the players need a library of history, language, social philosophy, the DM can say it's there. For other subjects, sage fields of study, roll a d10. On a 1, the library is complete. 2 to 8 partial, 9 to 10 non-existent. Fees to be paid are fairly hefty and have to be individually arranged with the wily old librarian, Rimen Tigana. Tigana is a cousin of the resident alchemist of Greyhawk City, a fact which he never fails to mention to visitors. The DM should determine fees as suits the level of costs in the campaign. Alright, Grelden is... Okay. Has a difficult strategic location at the junction of 3 fiefs, and the village of 1,300 folks has also been raided by deserting Imperial Army men and orcs twice in the previous spring, hence maintaining garrison here, which is performed perforce... Okay, wait. Grelden is the one... Hang on. Let me go back up to Roland. Yes. Grelden. Okay, Grelden is Rolandia troops, because it says so here. That's where they maintain their garrison. Okay. Plan. Alright, hang on. Okay, hang on. let me start. We're going to start on the editing part. At least a little bit. Okay, wait. First thing we're going to start on was the gnomes, right? Then, boom, 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 boom. So, let's start with this. No, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go demographics, population. Okay, we need to put little bumps here, otherwise it doesn't work. Our, $5,000. Okay. All right. All right. All right, let's put this in demographics. Right. Okay, the Go Cliffs. Surrounding the city. To dwarves and gnomes, right? That's our plan. That was how it went. So we're gonna yes, the gazebo. I remember the dread gazebo and the story of that because someone didn't know what a gazebo was, so when the DM described it, they wanted to attack it because it was a gazebo and it sounded terrifying. In fact, gazebos are non-sentient buildings that generally don't just stand there and don't do anything, sketch. People do sketch stuff in gazebos, but, that's how it goes. All right, all right, hang on. Dwarves and gnomes. Before, despite, before the Iridian, the initial Iridian settlers founded the city. Right. Okay. Um, founded the city. Hang on. Initial Iridian settlers founded the city. And this to for an uneasy there remains a decent in the city. As of it was 585, right? Beautiful. Okay, now we have to get the exact numbers. 150 dwarves and 200 gnomes in the town. Boom. Humans. Yes. 150, 150 dwarves, right? We agreed this was that number. And 200 gnomes. With 250 dwarves and 1,000 gnomes. Dang, if there are only 250 dwarves, you could probably name all of them. That's a very small amount. Wait, a war inside of Bag of Holding? Don't mistreat your... Of course you don't mistreat your hirelings. That's like basic not being evil 101 is don't mistreat your hirelings. That is why most modern corporations are fairly... I mean, I wrote up the entire... I want to show you some... I wrote up the entire regiment of Greyhawk troops, and that was more than 100. And then I named a bunch of the officers and a bunch of the women who had died fighting. And then, of course, all the Catachan troops they interacted with. Okay, the Catachan troops, I just stole names from basically my cousins and in-laws, because at that point I was just done with naming. But I can come up with 250 names easily. Like, okay. Let me see if I can find... Give me half a minute. Is it this one? Yeah. See? Oh, hey. It automatically opens up. That's fun. So if I pop this down for half a minute. This is the Greyhawk 10th with the basics of all of the soldiers that they... Why the fuck? Alright, come on. Hang on. I have to fix this. I'm sorry. It's a completely non-sequitur, but my point is this is at least 200 women named from the Greyhawk troops, And oh yeah, and this is all the Katachan guys too. At least some of them. And the okay, well, I know that now. T is time S times. That's the one. But my point is, yeah, these are just Katachan. These are troops. These are the since killed members of the Renthok, the tech priests, some of the medical personnel, the entire basically the entire fifth company of the Renthok 10th Regiment, which is what they each had 10 things of 8 each plus the anyway. This is I can name that many people, no problem. I am not going to delete my entire important document of how also save. That's fair. Okay. I will get pop this down very carefully. Where is it? Here. I'll put that down for a minute. I don't need to delete it. Here we go. That one. And this one. Okay. Good. Alright, hang on. But my point is, it is very possible to name that. I'm not going to try naming that many dwarves, also because I don't have the editorial authority to say that these are the names of all these dwarves who live here, but it's not an entire impossibility is my point. Yeah, you do that. You just keep going with that. Hang on. It was 1,000 gnomes, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to. I just like to show off my Renthok troops, and also because I haven't. That was going to be my first novel, and I never finished it, so I got a couple hundred pages in, realized I hadn't fought anyone, had them fight some orcs, the usual. Anyway, 1,000 gnomes. 2 gnomes with initial, this many gnomes. Gnomes living in settlements in Gull Cliff. Small settlements in the Gull Cliffs. In the Gull Cliffs. Outside the city. The city proper. Boom. Okay. That is, the rest of the, okay, yes, overwhelmingly human. Boom. Okay. Right. Let's go with population update. Boom. Okay. Boom. All right. So we've got a little bit of editing done. It's a good start. With population demographics. Okay. And then beautiful. Okay. All right. That's good. Okay. Um, um, okay. 586. So, boom, 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 boom. Formerly part of. Okay, hang on. All right. Let's see. What else can we add? It is 1107, which means I was going to get. There is a sock of holding. I promise you, I will stat up the sock of holding. I've just been busy. Okay, Dwarven names tend to be hard to pronounce. True. That is true. Dwarven names tend to be hard to pronounce, and I'm going to stat up the sock of holding anyway. I promise you that. All right. Okay. What's next? Geography. Okay, hang on. Maybe that's the next. The is boom. Or no, that's not right. That's not how it is. The city is the harbor. The harbor. Hang on. The harbor. What's the harbor called? Let's see. I think we might need to consult Anna for the harbor. Where's Roland? Okay. Boom. Free city of... Nope. There's no... Harbor does not have a name on Anna's map either. Bay of Gates. That's the one. But that's more like the whole area. The harbor itself does... No, it did. It mentioned it. Hang on. That's... Alright. This is the area we're talking about. It mentioned it. Hang on. Let me... Wait, hang on. I think it's... Is it 20,000? I thought it was... For some reason, I thought it was, I thought it was 30,000 points. Yeah, okay. That's at least halfway to getting a video. It's not... I mean, this Saturday, I can't do, because this Saturday, I promised, Sig that he shelled out for one. You can also cheat with bits. I think Blue Box did it at one point and then didn't even come to watch. But I did one of the Saturday videos. I think it was 3,000 bits. I said anyway. The point being, now I'm gonna have to check that. Hang on. Now you're making me check my own jiggy whatsits. You're right, it is only 20,000 or 2,000 bits. Okay. Yeah, because this week is Sig's week. Because it was going to be Sig, and then I was going to say, then it was the Kayla's week, and we did the Dark Tide video, which was actually really fun. And then it's Sig week again, because he keeps racking up the points and having gajillions. And then and then it's back to... Blue Boss. Yeah, there's, well, if you came and watched other videos, you could lurk and, okay, yes. Yeah, I think Blue Box cheated with bits, and then so I did the video on his behalf, and then not cheated necessarily. I always appreciate the bits, but I mean, I don't know if there's levels exactly, but you certainly have had more channel points than any other viewer ever in the entirety of how that goes. So, you know, that's fun. I mean, you could, and then I would agree to do the video for you if you have that many bits. I certainly wouldn't say no. Don't feel pressure, though. I know bits are an expensive commodity, and throwing them around is not, you know. But yes, I would agree to do the thing. But although it wouldn't be this Saturday. It would be next Saturday, because this Saturday we already agreed to Sigs, and I cannot remember what he requested. But right. Hang on. Go Cliffs. Nope, that's not right. We need to work on the. We're supposed to be using Roland right now. Hang on. The harbor is deep and the vessels could draw virtually up to the sea gates of Roland itself. Located in the Bay of Gates, by virtue of those cliffs, is highly defensible, which is where the Iridians founded it. Set back from the harbor, the place is immune to maritime invasion, which did with the necessary hauling cargo. Okay, so the sea. Okay, so the city is. All right, hang on. The city is built. Far. Stop that. Far back from the natural harbor. Harbor in the Bay of Gates. Hang on. Bay of Gates. Pulled down the smooth path. And the harbor. Right. Okay. The harbor. The natural anomaly. Anomaly being by cliffs. To largest keeled ships to enter. Grelden, Winetha's. I don't even know who Winetha is, but I feel like we should. So that is a whole other thing. Largest keeled ships to enter. Yes. Bay of Gates, I feel like, probably deserves a... This, the high cliffs. That the city is highly defensible. I have a although nowadays they're stopping password sharing, so I can't. They're gonna do Yes, we did Hellborn, we did Skaven, and we did Gotrek. I remember. I had access to a Netflix account that was my dad's, and then I forgot the password and kept meaning to ask him, and now they're not letting people do that anymore, so, you know, that's going to be a problem. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of things. I'll get to it. Maybe. Ugh. Yes, okay, fair. Maybe it is a crime. But I also am busy. I reread the entirety of Homestuck and got dragged into that fandom again, which took... I don't know. It takes a long time to reread Homestuck. Wait a second, have you guys ever read Homestuck? Because you guys are missing out on frickin'... Anyway, my point being... Sure, possibly. Means that it is... It is virtually immune to maritime attacks. There we go. Geography. Okay, let me look at the map again real quick. The Gull, yeah, it's built into the Gull Cliffs. What are you? Okay, there's Farland. That's the one where they share the troops. Where is Grelden? Oh, the Principality of Winetha. There it is. We're gonna have to figure out what the deal with that. Okay, Winetha is North Kingdom, and then Winetha is North Kingdom and former land of Roxas. Okay, that is an interesting... Huh. Also part of the North Kingdom, though. Okay, so... And then Roxas itself is just kind of... over here and just kind of in its own little bubble thing that no one can figure out the deal with. Okay, right. So Grelden is kind of... You would think Grelden would be like more up here. Winetha is like here-ish? Alright, well, anyway. don't know if we should put in geography that it's maybe we'll put that in cityscape. All right, at 11:30. Yeah, we'll mention that it's a bit of the we should put in the in cityscape we should put in the whole split level thing with the underground cave system and such. That would be a good plan, right? Yes. All right. That would be good. So let's do that, and then at 11:30 we're gonna end the stream, and officially. I mean, you probably could. Yeah, you can do watch parties and screen share on a Discord call, if you have a thing set up. So that could be a possibility. But you know what I should do? You guys are going to hate me for it, but I should do a Homestuck stream. That would be a cool thing to do. I could freaking make... maybe. Or I could do Hive Swap. A stream for Hive Swap. That could be... I know I can run streams with the playing. I just can't watch the chat and run streams with playing because I don't have that kind of tech with how to set up my monitor properly. So that's... We'd have to figure something else out with that. But, yes. Okay. There's the 5. Okay, split level city. On the hills by the coastline, extensive caves below. Okay, so... a split level city with the upper city and the lower... Okay, yes. All right. Right. All right. Right, so... Okay, hang on. Before... Nyet. caves and is it caves and catacombs that they're described as? Are stores and military bunkers. A handful of um um buck the tradition. Ashes cremated, right. Okay. Patrols. 2 L's. Okay. All right. Boom. Come on. Beautiful. Okay. So, Roland is starting to come together, sorta. We haven't gotten into the 5 yet, but we'll do that in a later. What were you saying? Oh, I haven't seen Edge Runners either. No. It was Cyberpunk 2077, which is a cool show. I agree. Cyberpunk 2077 is pretty cool, honestly. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna shut down this map. I'm gonna end the stream here because it's longer than I usually stream. In any case, and I should probably take it easy after yesterday, but I appreciate all of you popping by and helping the chat be very cool. I'm glad you think it's a cool show too. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I appreciate all of you coming. Don't forget, I do have a stream Discord, which is kind of awesome if you want to pop by. Actually, let me see if let me check something. Give me a sec. I want to test something very quickly. Christoph, yes. Okay. Let me quickly test something. There is a very easy way to do this that we... There we go. Now we should be able to do this. There we go. Nope. Okay. Okay. Well, good to know at least part of it's working. Because Anna is awesome and deserves that. Okay, now we're gonna go rating. Oh, Mike Disney's on. We're absolutely rating Mike Disney. No question. Yeah, we're rating Mike Disney. Let's do it. We're rating Mike Disney. Let's do this. If you guys want to come along, I would appreciate it. Yep, let's go. Mike Disney is awesome. Great friend of the channel. Always has amazing music. Paints cool minis. You know, just a vibe. Boom. Alright. Now we do that. And we hit this here as soon as we're sure it goes through. Boom.